All right, so this is the 3-day chart, right, of the S&P. So again, I go over this every week. Here was our massive run up from the COVID crash. Look how little volatility there was, right, in comparison to this downtrend. The question is, why is that? Well, in my opinion, it's because the Fed was injecting money into the market. So all the market makers and everybody were super happy. They were making a profit every day because free money was getting injected. Then things were turned off. The money faucet was turned off. The Fed said, okay, no more. So the MMs have no choice but to create excess volatility to make that profit. They need to run stops on both sides to take money from market participants, while before everyone could make money because the Fed was printing free money. That's why I believe it's much more volatile on the downside here and far more difficult to trade. I mean, this was basically boring / simple in comparison. This is just buy the dip. Right now, what we're in now, this is like serious real trading. This is some hardcore stuff. And you can see on a 3-day chart here, this was why don't we go to, you know what? So a 3-day chart looks like crap, by the way. If we do my traditional RSI analysis, this is our breakdown, right? We've basically been bearish since here. We broke down through this massive uptrend channel. Now we're breaking down through the midpoint of my large yellow downtrend channel. And I suspect that we'll go all the way down to 3450. That's my downside target right here. That it should tag, and it's looking like it wants to. We do have an 8 printing. However, in the past, you've had 8 and 9s print, and the market continues lower. So I don't give too much credit to it. I'm going to give more credit to the fact that every single time frame, if you look at the top right of my screen, by the way, this is RSI right here, and every single one is red. Okay, that means that market is screwed. The trend is to the downside. Don't fight the trend. Okay, don't buy these dips. I don't recommend it. You're going to get run over for the most part. Maybe eventually you'll be right, but the question is, by the time you're right, are you going to have anything left in your account after getting stopped out like 20 times? So I highly recommend checking the trend, sticking with a trend. We do have a TD8 coming in on the daily. That's a little bit concerning from a bounce standpoint, but the downtrend does seem very strong. Let's go down to a daily chart and let's talk about, this weird pink pattern I have here. So this was an Elliott wave pattern I drew before that played out, third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the third was the longest. You can see that. Generally in a Elliott wave pattern, the third wave will be the longest and have the least amount of pullbacks. Now, if we look on a daily chart, if you look on inter time frame charts, there was a bit of a pullback, but if I'm looking at the daily, as long as this keeps closing lower and we have a candle lower every time, this is a valid wave 3 down, which is normally the biggest wave of the 5 waves. It will be the biggest, most violent wave. So I want to see a push lower on this wave, at least down to like 3,655 today. 3,700, 3,650, something like that today would be. That would continue to validate my wave 3 theory, which I drew this over a week ago. And so it's been playing out. The tag was for the second. The tag was for the second wave to be here and then dump on the Fed day. And that's basically what happened. We dumped and then we've continued dumping. Now, if we go to slightly lower time frames, right, like a 4-hour, we can see what happened here. We had the Powell taper tantrum. Now, why does this happen? Why did we have this? And it's because the market uses, anytime Powell speaks or there's some kind of FOMC or major news release from big banks, it uses it as an opportunity to take liquidity on both sides, which is exactly what happened. Okay, it took liquidity on the upside, stopped everyone out who was considering any position on the short side here, stopped them all out, and then it reversed. Okay, that is the point of these meetings for the market. At least it's an excuse to create excess volatility, to take money from generally retail traders, and then eventually, once they've loaded up in their position, they can then go in the direction they want to go. So keeping that in mind, remember that tomorrow Papa Powell is speaking again. What time is he speaking? Let me check the Forex Factory chart. That's the chart I like to use, Forex Factory. He is speaking at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, 1 a.m. Bangkok time for me. So there's going to be another taper tantrum. They're going to do it again. The market's going to have like a seizure. It's going to do, and then pick a direction, probably to the downside more. So Powell, taper tantrum. Keep in mind, Fed news days, bank releases. You're going to get extreme volatility. Why do you get extreme volatility? Because market makers are hunting to fill their positions and then eventually move in the direction that they want to move in. They need this massive volatility to be filled at the size that they want to make the appropriate profits they need. Okay, so 4-hour chart, you can see the downtrend still intact here until we break out. I don't have any. There's look at these like temporary breakouts. If I originally drew it here, you had to break out here. This is your fake out on the taper tantrum. And then we just rolled back over. I could have drawn this to the upside. This is just pure bearish, right? So if we go higher, 8-hour bearish, 12-hour bearish, daily bearish. I don't see anything. Let's go 3-day, right? 3-day, okay, bearish, weekly, bearish. I see nothing, absolutely nothing to make me bullish here. Maybe we go to a 15-minute time frame. Even the 15-minute time frame is looking kind of crappy. Like maybe you could have gotten a reversal here, but so far nothing. So it's just a little bit of a bounce because you had a 9 come in, but otherwise it just looks. I don't see anywhere for this market to go but down. So if the answer is okay, the only place for this market to go is down. The next question then is, where are we going? Where are our take profits if we're in a short, which I am. Our take profits are at a couple different points. So first of all, we've got this, right? We've got our ABCD we can create here. So that creates a take profit at 36.60, right? So that's one example. And that lines up with, I think, the previous lows. Yeah, so you see how it lines up with the lows? Of course, that is a take profit point because we're probably going to go right below the lows a bit, and then we'll probably do a bit of a bounce. So we should take profit there, take some profits out, and then reshort it later once a new short sets up. So that's one example.